Skip it up and that up.
So things are not looking good for E3. Like at all. Like it's on life support and may not be around in a few years, kind of bad. Let's get into it. Do you have one of these? Do you have a Switch Lite or do you have a regular Switch? Then you should get a Satisfy gaming grip. They're a sponsor of this channel and I absolutely love their products. They make the Switch Lite and Switch really ergonomic. I use the grip on my Switch Lite especially all the time, and they also have awesome cases that you could store all of your accessories in, down to the power supply and everything else, all of your games. And there's also a link below in the description. If you use the code ReviewTech10, you'll get 10% off your entire order. I can't recommend these grips enough, and thank you to Satisfy for sponsoring these videos. Well, it's funny to think that in 2018, things were actually kind of looking up for E3 because it had the highest attendance since 2005. That was a pretty big deal, and everyone was like, hey, maybe E3 is finally turning around and things are looking up. Well, then 2019 happened, and E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, accidentally had on their website the names, phone numbers, and addresses and personal information publicly available of over 2,000 attendees, whether it be YouTubers, journalists, etc. And then that list, even when after E3 took it down, was of course archived by trolls and people were getting harassed and called at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty crazy. And that really wasn't a good look for the ESA. They made a statement, but it didn't really help things. Why the hell would you want to go back to E3 if there's a chance you may be doxxed and have psychos actually calling you and maybe showing up at your house? But anyway, this is what the ESA had to say about them accidentally putting everyone's information out there. ESA was made aware of a website vulnerability that led to the contact list of registered journalists attending E3 being made public. Once notified, we immediately took steps to protect the data and shut down the site, which is no longer available. We regret this occurrence and have put measures in place to ensure it will not occur again. How that even occurred to begin with is beyond me. That was like one of the biggest fails in gaming history, but it happened, and now that left a very sour taste in people's mouths about E3 as a whole. As a matter of fact, it is pretty much confirmed that Sony is not showing up to E3 2020 again. They didn't show up last year, and things seem like they're not showing up this year. As a matter of fact, Kotaku's Jason Schreier said this on Twitter about E3 2020. E3 is in the worst shape it's ever been. Last year it was half empty, and that was before they doxed thousands of attending journalists. So Sony skipping again would make total sense. I'd expect them to announce their own big PS5 event/events instead. Look, there was a time until I would say the 2010s-ish. I'm not even talking like 2019. I would say like till like 2013, 2014 that you were amped for E3. Because the internet really until kind of sort of fairly recently what didn't make all information instantly available. Okay, yes, I've had high-speed internet since the early 2000s, but nowadays, God, I sound old saying nowadays, but it's true, everything's just out there instantly. And there's leakers from no matter how much you put people under NDAs, there are leakers out there from Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, insert other big gaming company here, EA, Activision, blah, 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 blah. Someone's always going to leak, anonymously give out valid information, and there's little chance of there being action taken against them because the internet's so wide and it's very hard to track people down that there's always someone going to leak next-gen info, upcoming game information, and we're always going to find stuff out way before E3. So that element of surprise that really amped people up for E3 is all but dead because it's virtually impossible to keep a secret now. It really is, because there's always someone leaking from every single company out there. All they have to do is remain anonymous, and guess what? They'll face no repercussions because of it. So hey, journalists from Kotaku or IGN or so on and so forth, just don't give out my name. And here's Nintendo's upcoming Switch Pro. Here's Microsoft's Xbox Series X. Here are the specs for it. Here's this. Here's what the controller looks like. Just don't put my name out there. Don't show the serial number. And we're good to go. So all the surprise elements go away. You know, it's funny when Nintendo started with Nintendo Directs back, I believe it was in 2011, I remember thinking, oh, Nintendo, what are you doing? You're missing E3 now? You're not going to go straight up to E3. You're going to have a little presence there and just do these stupid YouTube videos, which I was wrong about. They weren't stupid. It was actually them embracing the future. But back then I thought, oh, here's Nintendo being Nintendo, trying to be different and missing out on E3, which is the biggest gaming event every year. But they were right. And they realized that that was the future, and here we are. Everyone's following suit. Why go to E3, spend all of these dollars doing some major event with high production value when you could just go on your YouTube channel, whether you're Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo, or hold your own event for less money and get the same amount of information out there, and as a matter of fact, it may even spread further and spend a lot less. It makes zero sense. And when you know now that you're going to have leakers in every single company, no matter what, why there's no element of surprise anymore. So why waste millions upon millions of dollars doing this big event at E3 when everyone's like, yeah, I knew the Switch Pro was coming. Yeah, I knew the Xbox Series X was coming. Yeah, I knew what the controller looks like. Yeah, I know Ghost of Tsushima was coming for the PS4 and PS5 or whatever. You get my point. Everyone knows everything. So that element of excitement is gone. And then on top of it, everyone's personal information gets out there and you have these weirdo trolls calling people at 3 a.m. Like, do you really want to risk that for an event which no one really gives a crap about anymore anyway, or at least as much as they used to in the past? I don't think so. I have a feeling within the next 5 years, E3 is going to be a thing of the past because times are changing. And when times change, the industry has to evolve, and E3 right now is seeming like a relic. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Hey, if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a Review Tech USA member. I'll have a link below in the description. I live stream now on this channel all the time, and it gives you access to cool emoticons to use as well while I live stream. Again, link below in the description. Thank you for your continued support.